Hello everyone, welcome back for the fourth video tutorial. So for this video, we are going to make use of pandas as a special library in Python that allow us to work with scientific data better. Okay, and it have many functions that allow us to do data analysis as well. Okay, now let me clear off all my previous script right here, and then we go from here. And as you can see that if you feel like there are so many lines of code in the console area already now, I don't want to use it here like this because it's gonna give me long line of this list. So what you need to do is just go ahead and just queue your previous Python script widgets and then right click again and you can go to Python script. And now when you double click on this, then you're gonna get the new Python script reference console area like this, and you can just remove everything and go from scratch. Okay, alright. So over here, what we are going to do is that we are going to introduce you the concept of the pandas data frames. What is pandas? Pandas is basically a spatial libraries that developed by scientific community to give you ability to do data analysis, especially for two-dimensional data model like table model. And they call this one as the data frame. For the data frames, it's always have like column names and the data as the series. So let's go ahead and create the first data frame together first. So over here, what I'm going to do is, since this is, when you install the the orange, they already pre-installed the pandas for you, so you can just use the import pandas like this, okay? And then you can just now go down, and what we want to do is, if you import it this way, of course, whenever you want to use the function, you always have to prefix with the pandas. So we're gonna do with this first. And what we want to do is we want to create a new data frame together so you can see this in concept together. So let me move this a little bit on the left hand side and let's follow this tutorial. Okay, this tutorial is available on this website. Okay, you can look it up as well. So now what I want to do is I want to create a new data frame. So I say, hey, this library, could you please, after you import, I want you to call function data frame. Okay, and then in Python as well, you can also specify the name of the function. So let me do this. Before we talk about this in pandas, let me go back to how do you do this in Python. So imagine that you have the function to add number together. So you have like def, and you have the function add that take two number like x and y. And then what you want is just return x plus y as the output. Okay, so that's the function. And whenever you want to do the function call, then you say function add, take two input 10 and 20, and then it's gonna return the output. When it return the output, okay, which is like 10, 20, it's gonna return 30 as the output, right? We're gonna have to keep this output somewhere in the memory, so that's why we put it into another variable reference. So we call like output or x equal to this, and then you can print out the value of x. And when you run the script, then you can see that it gives you the output that way. Good. But now, suppose that you misplace this one, it's gonna be okay though. But if I have like 2 multiplied by x, okay, and your intention is you just forget that the first value should be x, the second value should be y, but you misplace it. So therefore, in this case, the output is going to be like this. Okay, so in Python, you might say, is it the way that allow us to just do not remember the sequence of the input, but I remember the name of the input? So for example, I can say that x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. Is it possible? And now if you run this one, you can see that now it's possible. Now the good thing about this is that in the previous example, when we don't have like the name, okay, for this, we just directly take the input value right here. This is called positional input arguments, or you know that whenever you call it this way, the value of 10 will be assigned to the first value and first parameters, and the second value will be assigned to the second parameter. But sometimes it is very difficult. Suppose that you have this like x, a, b, c, d, so you do not know which one comes first in terms of the ordering, right? So therefore, that is why it is a good idea to always put what we call name input parameter. So therefore, for example, I don't have to always put x first. I can say that y equal to 10 and then x equal to 20 in this case. And if I run the project, you can see that it's going to give me the 50 as the output. So the order doesn't matter anymore as long as you can remember the input name. This is what we call the name input parameters. Okay, so I think this is a better way. Whenever you call the function, just put the name of variable as well in Python, right? Okay, now let's come back up. So once you learn about this, let me go down, and here we're gonna import pandas, and then we know that the pandas has a function called data frame, and this function requires an input. So we're gonna have to say that this data equal to something. Okay, so that's gonna be equal to our dictionary. So we're gonna call dic1, and our dic1 is equivalent to, is going to be equal to just like the entity of the object. So you need to define, for example, over here, if you want to have two column, therefore you're going to need to have key pair value for two column. The key pair value for the first column, that's going to be the name of the column. This is going to be the value of the first column. Same thing, this is going to be used for the second column, right? So this is going to be the value of the name of the column. This is going to be the value of column itself. So over here, let's say that you need one column first. So we're going to all have like, let's say that I have it like a, how about price? Okay, and price. And I say that this is only have one element right here. So therefore, over here, I'm going to have taking dic1 as the input. And what this function does is that it's going to return me the output. So therefore, I'm going to call this output fdf. And what I can do is that I can now look at the f as well. Now let me print this out for you. And as you can see what happens, it gives me the output in terms of the table format when we have only one column and one single row, like this. Now let's say that I just put more, like 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, and then rerun again one more time. What happens? You still got the same column here, which is the price, but now you have 4 different rows, like so. And that is used to indicate the index for each row. The first row always start up with a 0, like this. Okay, now if you can imagine that one key pair give you one column like this. If you go for second column, then let's say that you have like the maybe the size of the room as well, and that's going to be equal to another set. Let's call that this is going to be 100, 200, 300, and 400, and the size like 10 square meter, 20 square meter, 30 square meter, and 40 square meter right here. Now when you run this one, you can see that we got how many columns? We got, because we have how many key pair? 2 key pair. So therefore one key pair is responsible one series of the data, one column. So from now on, I would say that series is going to be equal to what we call columns. Okay, so in the data science, each column we reference it as a series. Okay, all right. What else? So in this case, we have already created, okay, the data with have 2 columns, and each column have 4 different input. Now imagine that I go for an equal, okay, element right here. As you can see, what happened? It's gonna say that no, each series, okay, even though that it's gonna be different column, should have the same size. So therefore you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different elements. So you should have 5 different elements as well. So you run it this way. Now, if you do not know what is the data for here, then you can just put like, I think in Python, we call undefined, maybe. Okay, let me look up this. Python new value. So how do you define the null? I think you can just call the null directly. Null is used to represent non-value. Okay, so let me go back here and just change this to be null and try again one more time. It's not called null. Okay, so what is the name of the null value? It's called, used to be called, oh, it's called none. So in this case, I'm gonna go back to my orange and then change this last element as none, and try again one more time. As you can see, so in pandas, whenever you have no data there, you just put none right there, okay, and it's going to give you not available or not a number, okay. Okay, what else? So this is how you actually work with the pandas. But as you can see, anytime that you want to call pandas library or module, it's gonna be long because you have to call pandas, right? So that is why you can always give the nickname to your module. So in this case, if you say pandas as PD, therefore in the future, instead of calling this as pandas, you can just put it as the PD. So it saves your typing, especially if you want to use PD a lot, okay, in your code. So this is how in Python we give the alias name for or the nickname for pandas. All right. So in the next video tutorial, we are going to focus on how do we utilize the use of data frames so that we can do simple data analysis for it. Okay. Until then, I'll see you. Thank you.